Your thyroid might be shutting down right now. And the thing destroying it isn't some exotic toxin or rare disease. It's something you probably did within the last 6 hours. This tiny gland at the base of your neck controls your metabolism, energy, body temperature, and even how your brain functions. When it fails, everything falls apart. And the number one habit sabotaging it is hiding in plain sight. Most people think thyroid problems are genetic or just bad luck. They're not. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology shows that environmental factors, specifically lifestyle habits, trigger thyroid dysfunction in over 60% of cases. One habit stands above all others as the primary destroyer. And it's so normalized in modern life that doctors rarely mention it. Let's break down exactly what's happening inside your body. Your thyroid produces two critical hormones, T3 and T4. These molecules travel through your bloodstream, telling every single cell in your body how fast to operate. Too little thyroid hormone, and you gain weight, feel exhausted, get brain fog, lose hair, and feel cold all the time. Your body is literally running in slow motion. But here's what most people miss. The thyroid doesn't just randomly stop working. Something has to break the system first. That something is chronic stress. But not the kind you're thinking of. When we hear stress, we picture work deadlines or relationship drama. That's part of it, but the real damage comes from a specific type of stress that creates a hormonal cascade your thyroid cannot survive. Let me explain the mechanism. When you experience any form of stress, physical, emotional, or metabolic, your adrenal glands release cortisol. This is your survival hormone. In short bursts, cortisol is helpful. It mobilizes energy, sharpens focus, and prepares you to handle threats. The problem starts when cortisol never turns off. Modern humans live in a state of perpetual activation. You wake up to an alarm, immediately check your phone, drink coffee on an empty stomach, skip breakfast or eat pure carbohydrates, sit in traffic, stare at screens for hours, eat lunch at your desk, consume more caffeine, stay up late scrolling, and sleep poorly. Every single one of these actions triggers cortisol release. Now watch what happens inside your body. Elevated cortisol directly suppresses thyroid function through three brutal mechanisms. First, it blocks the conversion of T4 into T3. Your thyroid produces mostly T4, which is inactive. Your liver and other tissues must convert it into T3, the active form your cells actually use. High cortisol shuts down this conversion process. You might have plenty of T4 floating around, but your cells are starving for usable T3. Second, cortisol increases something called reverse T3. This is a mirror image molecule that fits into your cellular receptors, but does nothing. Think of it like a key that fits the lock but won't turn. Reverse T3 blocks real T3 from working, creating a thyroid resistance pattern that standard blood tests often miss. Your labs might look normal, but you feel terrible because your cells can't access the hormone. Third, chronic cortisol inflames your entire system, and inflammation is thyroid poison. Your immune system starts producing antibodies that attack your thyroid tissue directly. This is how Hashimoto's thyroiditis develops, the most common cause of hypothyroidism in developed countries. Your own body begins destroying the gland because the stress signal never stops. But there's a fourth mechanism that makes this even worse, and it's the part nobody talks about. Chronic stress absolutely destroys your gut lining. Your intestinal barrier becomes permeable, a condition called leaky gut. When this happens, undigested food particles, bacteria, and toxins slip through into your bloodstream. Your immune system freaks out. It goes into hyperactive mode, producing inflammatory chemicals and autoantibodies. Here's the connection. Your gut produces 20% of your active T3 and contains the majority of your immune tissue. When your gut is inflamed and permeable from chronic stress, your thyroid conversion drops and your autoimmune risk skyrockets. The gut-thyroid axis is so intertwined that you cannot fix one without addressing the other. Most people try to manage this with thyroid medication, and sometimes that's necessary. But if you don't fix the underlying cortisol problem, you're just masking symptoms while the destruction continues. The medication might normalize your TSH on paper, but you'll still feel exhausted because the cellular resistance remains. So what actually counts as chronic stress? It's not just your job or your relationships. The biggest cortisol triggers are metabolic, and they're happening at the level of your blood sugar. Every time you eat refined carbohydrates or sugar without adequate protein and fat, your blood glucose spikes. Your pancreas dumps insulin to clear it. Your blood sugar then crashes. This crash is interpreted by your body as a stress emergency, so your adrenals release cortisol to bring glucose back up. If you're eating this way 3, 4, 5 times per day, you're locked in a blood sugar roller coaster that keeps cortisol chronically elevated. Add in poor sleep, which independently raises cortisol, and you've created the perfect environment for thyroid destruction. Your body is stuck in survival mode with no off switch. Now here's what makes this so insidious. The thyroid damage happens slowly. You don't wake up one day with complete thyroid failure. Instead, your energy drops gradually. You gain 5 pounds, then 10. Your hair thins slightly. You need more coffee. You blame age or being busy, never realizing that your metabolism is suffocating under the weight of unrelenting cortisol. The medical system makes this worse. You go to your doctor complaining of fatigue and weight gain. They run a standard thyroid panel, TSH, and maybe T4. If your TSH is within range, even if it's on the high end, you're told everything is fine. You're sent home with suggestions to exercise more and eat less. But exercising when your thyroid is struggling and your cortisol is high makes everything worse. You're adding more stress to an already overloaded system. Your body interprets intense exercise as another threat, dumps more cortisol, and further suppresses thyroid conversion. You end up more exhausted and even heavier. What you actually need is a completely different approach. You need to break the cortisol cycle first. That means stabilizing blood sugar by eating protein and fat with every meal, especially breakfast. When you start your day with carbs alone, orange juice, cereal, toast, you trigger the blood sugar roller coaster immediately. Your cortisol stays elevated all day trying to manage the chaos. Instead, prioritize 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking. Eggs, steak, Greek yogurt, something substantial. Add healthy fats. This sends a safety signal to your body. It tells your system that resources are abundant and there's no need to stay in survival mode. Your cortisol rhythm starts to normalize. Sleep becomes non-negotiable. Every hour of sleep you lose, especially before midnight, raises next-day cortisol significantly. Your body repairs your thyroid during deep sleep. Miss that window consistently, and you never recover. You need 7 to 9 hours in a dark, cool room. Consistently. This isn't optional if you want your thyroid to heal. Then you address the gut. Remove the foods that inflame your intestinal lining. For most people, that's gluten, dairy, and processed seed oils. These are the primary triggers of intestinal permeability. Add in bone broth, fermented foods, and collagen to repair the damage. As your gut heals, your thyroid conversion improves and your immune system calms down. But here's the piece that ties everything together. You have to change how you perceive stress itself. Psychological stress, worry, anxiety, rumination hits your adrenals just as hard as physical stress. Your body can't tell the difference between running from a predator and obsessing over an email you sent 3 hours ago. Both trigger cortisol release. This is where practices like breathwork, meditation, or even just walking outside become medicinal. They're not luxury self-care activities. They're interventions that directly lower cortisol and allow your thyroid to recover. 10 minutes of slow nasal breathing can drop cortisol measurably. Your thyroid gets a break from the suppression. Most importantly, you need proper testing if you suspect this is happening. Don't accept a basic TSH test as the full picture. Request a full thyroid panel including free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. If your doctor won't order it, find one who will or use a direct-to-consumer lab. You need to see what's actually happening at the cellular level, not just what your pituitary gland is doing. When you address cortisol first, something remarkable happens. Your thyroid often heals itself. Your energy returns. The weight starts coming off without extreme dieting. Your hair thickens. Your mood stabilizes. You realize you weren't broken. You were just stuck in a stress response your body couldn't escape. Your thyroid isn't weak. It's protective. When your body is under siege from chronic stress, shutting down metabolism is a survival strategy. It's trying to conserve resources because it thinks you're in danger. The solution isn't to force your thyroid to work harder with medication alone. The solution is to remove the danger signal, lower the cortisol, stabilize the blood sugar, heal the gut, prioritize sleep, give your body the safety it's desperately searching for. When you do this, your thyroid doesn't need to be forced. It recovers naturally because the threat is gone. This is the conversation that should happen in every doctor's office but almost never does. Thyroid dysfunction isn't a thyroid problem. It's a stress problem. And stress isn't just what's happening in your head. It's what's happening in your blood, your gut, and your cells every single moment of every single day. Fix the environment, and your thyroid will follow. You can't medicate your way out of a lifestyle your body perceives as constant danger. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. But it's the only path to actually healing your thyroid. Every time you skip sleep, crush another energy drink, or eat in a way that sends your blood sugar into chaos, you're telling your body the threat is still active. And your thyroid will keep protecting you by slowing everything down until you finally signal that it's safe. The worst habit destroying your thyroid isn't just one thing. It's the accumulation of 1,000 small stressors that never let your cortisol drop. It's the refusal to prioritize the basics: sleep, stable blood sugar, gut health, real food, because modern life convinced you that running on empty is normal. It's not. It's pathological. And your thyroid is paying the price. So if you're exhausted, gaining weight, losing hair, and feeling like your body has completely betrayed you, start here. Fix the cortisol. Everything else becomes possible after that.